Hi everyone, welcome to another session on deviation from ideal mental health, and in this session we'll take a look at a few ways that you can improve your exam skills. So let's start with some exam style questions. So for this task, identify two of the following criteria which are examples from Jehoda's definition of ideal mental health, and this question is worth 2 marks. So pause the video for 60 seconds and write your answers down, but think carefully. Multiple choice questions are sometimes trickier than what they look. The correct answers are highlighted on the screen for you, so give yourself a tick if you got those right. Now let's try that again with a different style of question. So spend some time decoding this question to ensure that you're interpreting the demands of the question accurately. So pause the video here for 3 to 5 minutes while you try and look for keywords, terminology, command words, anything that is critical to interpreting this question correctly. So when you decoded the question, hopefully you spotted identify. This is the command word that's used. So 2 criteria is what it's asked for. So if we only do 1, then we're partially performing. And if we do 3, 4, or 5, just because they're there, then we're not using our time well. So in the story about Rosalie, it already refers to resistance of stress. So that's not one that we can use in our answer. So if you do use that, you won't get any marks. We want to focus on ideal mental health, and this might sound like a really obvious thing to pinpoint, but we've got to keep focused on the right definition. And we've got to be thinking about Rosalie. She's not there for fun, she's there for us to engage with. And the question's only worth 2 marks, so that tells us again how much we don't have to do for this question. Now you can pause the video for 3 minutes while you answer this question. And 2 answers or potential answers are on the screen. So there was a couple to choose from. So if you didn't get these 2, that's fine. Just make sure that the ones that you have chosen are in Jehoda's list and that they're not resistance to stress, because like we've already said, that's already been mentioned. So now you're ready to have a go at a slightly trickier question. Evaluate deviation from ideal mental health as a definition of abnormality for 4 marks. And if we decode this together, we can see that we're not restricted to 1 evaluation point. So if it doesn't say 1 or 2 or 3, then we're free to give as little or as many as we want. But there are other things that might inform your decision. You're not restricted to strength or limitations, and you can earn the 4 marks by doing 1 evaluation point accurately and really in depth, or you could choose to do 2 points in slightly less detail. Let's pause this video for 10 minutes because you're going to need to give this question some thought, make your decision, and then put pen to paper. Alright, so let's take a look at a suggested answer. And this one may not focus on the point or the points that you did, but what we're really practicing here is our elaboration, our structure, our terms, so you can always make comparisons that way. So one strength of ideal mental health as a definition of abnormality is that it can be used to identify specific reasons why someone may be demonstrating abnormal behaviour. For example, someone may be struggling with resistant stress, which could then be having a negative impact on their perception of themselves. This is a strength since it means people can then receive targeted support to address the criteria they're not reaching, which will ultimately have a positive impact on their overall mental health. So this answer's gone for 1 point, but in sufficient detail to achieve the 4 marks. Now, of course, you can get any 16-mark extended writing question in this topic as well. So let's take a look at this one. Outline and evaluate 1 or more definitions of abnormality for 16 marks. You can answer this question as some additional extra work after the session, but for this final task in the session, you're going to be shown some features or keywords relating to definitions of abnormality, and your first task is to rearrange them so they sit within their own definition. So in other words, what definitions have been used and how can these be rearranged? So pause the video for 5 minutes while you rearrange these terms into the definitions of abnormality that you can spot. Hopefully you spotted the 3 definitions used and assembled the features and the terms like you can see on the screen. But let's take this further, reshuffle them again within the definitions as they are, but this time let's move the key points about so that we're bunching them into AO1 or into AO3. So again, pause the video for a couple of minutes while you reshuffle them. And again, you can compare your work with what's on the screen. And if you're going to attempt the essay question, then you could select some of the content that's on your screen right now